All right, yeah. All right, I call this meeting to order on Wednesday, February 5th at 4:30 p.m. And the first item on the agenda is a roll call.
Okay, when I call your name, please say present. Chair Lashinsky,
Present.
Vice Chair Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner Crawford,
Present.
Commissioner Hubble,
Present.
Commissioner Kinzelberg,
Present.
Commissioner Malekian,
Present.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Present.
Commissioner Sue,
Present.
and Commissioner Yui.
Present.
Let the record show all commissioners are present.
Next up on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. All right, next up on the agenda are special presentations and proclamations, which we have one starting with Rohan Fadness.
So you can take the podium, yep, and speak into the mic, please.
All right, thank you. Is the presentation? I suppose I can start. Just a quick introduction. My name is Rohan Fadness. I am the managing director and co-founder of Way Zero, and we are a nonprofit based here in San Diego. And our mission is to not only educate, but also implement policies across California and the United States in regards to environmental and sustainability. And so some of our things that we've helped in the past is California SB 1583. Here we are. Wonderful. One of the things that we've helped done is help lobby for the ban on plastic bags, which will be taking effect January 1st of next year. So, we're very involved in sustainability, and so with a lot of the research that we've done, I think there are things that we're able to help you with. So, just really quickly, it vibrates. Just really quickly, so I kind of want to talk about a few things, some a little bit more important than others, but just here's a quick overview. I think it's important to talk about sustainable plastic alternatives in Encinitas. Encinitas was one of the first cities in North County to ban styrofoam, which thank you guys so much for doing. And then talk a little bit more about sustainable transportation, what we can do not only as youth, but as the city itself. Community engagement and education programs. And then I also want to talk a little about the climate plan updates. And then just talk about upcoming events that the city can work on creating something for. So talking about SPAs or SPAs, I'm going to refer to them as SPAs from now on, but they stand for Sustainable Plastic Alternatives. So that includes anything like a fiberboard paper. So when you go to a restaurant and you get a takeout container, there are typically three possible things that you get right now. That's either a polystyrene, a hard shell plastic, or a plastic alternative. Those plastic alternatives, while they are more sustainable than your polystyrene or like hard shell plastics, they might contain, and most typically do contain, wax or plastic, which when you eat from, it does contain microplastics, so you'll be eating those. And I personally don't enjoy having microplastics in my body. So something that we've really been advocating for is implementing and bringing sustainable plastic alternatives, or SPAs, into the U.S. marketplace. So just really quickly, some of the key actions that have either been done or should be done in the future. Encinitas did pass an ordinance banning plastic, styrofoam containers and utensils, also banning straws as well. These are, incredible steps forward. But I think something that Encinitas, as well as many other cities, should look forward to is partnering with local businesses to help them make that step to transferring and transitioning to compostable alternatives. So one of the things I'd like to mention is a seaweed-based plastic. These are incredibly beneficial for the environment because they don't rely on agricultural land space, so they don't take away from the food that we need to eat to sustain the growing population. And they're also incredibly environmentally friendly because they can have the potential to make the product carbon neutral, which is something that we're always looking forward to do. So something else that the city can do, and something that we've been working with the state of California a lot with, is providing incentives for restaurants and retailers. So one of the biggest things that we get from restaurants, out of the 250 restaurants that we've surveyed in the past year, the biggest issue is pricing. So if you go to any restaurant right now, you'll typically get any container that's either made from cardboard lined with plastic or seaweed, or you'll get a hard gel plastic. The problem with those, or well, not necessarily a problem for restaurants, but those can cost anywhere between 10 to 15 cents per container. However, a sustainable plastic alternative can cost anywhere between twice to three times as much as that. So we're looking at 35, 40 cents sometimes. And restaurants are not willing to make that step forward because that decreases their bottom line that they make. And so something that we're really looking to do is allow restaurants to make this transition by either providing incentives or de-incentivizing the use of these unsustainable materials that are going into our waste streams and causing problems. So this will completely reduce waste and litter, and it will also go into composting facilities. These composting facilities can then, enter a circular economy. And one of the biggest other things that we need to do is enhance public awareness. So I think as youth, the best thing that we can do is try and educate others, not just other youth, but as other adults as well, trying to implement policies that can affect the rest of the city that we all live in is incredibly beneficial, because we will work to ensure that the products that we use and the products that are being used in this city can be sustainable and are alternatives to plastic. So secondly, talking about renewable energy access. Oh, that's interesting. Must have been a typo. So this is more about sustainable transportation. Right now, state of California has been implementing this a lot, and I think the city of Encinitas can work to this as well. But requiring charging stations at all new developments. Now, this is not something that the Youth Commission might be able to do, but this is something that we should be thinking about for future steps. But one of the biggest things that I think that this commission can do is improve developing more bike lanes, pedestrian-friendly streets, and implementing micromobility solutions. So that includes stuff like those bird scooters, or those when you go to like those big cities like downtown San Diego, San Francisco, you'll see a lot of those electric like bikes, scooters, anything like that people can rent out and use. And so this will decrease the amount of cars on the road. So not only will we have safer cities, but we will also have a more sustainable city, because we will be taking those cars off the road and less greenhouse gas emissions. So this also promotes healthier lifestyles. I know the city of Encinitas has really been working on a lot of safety for electric bikes, and so a part of that program could also be bringing companies and bringing other organizations to Encinitas to help not only economic development, but also allow and provide people to get a taste of what having an electric bike or having an electric scooter could look like. So, like I said, this can include anything like charging stations. So, work with third-party groups like a Bird or others like Lime and other companies like that to bring and build out those products here. Something else could be to implement e-bike charging stations. That will also be something else that can help develop the use of e-bikes around Encinitas. I think one of the biggest things that we've also found in our research and our data that we have collected shows that people are willing to ride their e-bikes to and from school, or they're willing to ride their bikes around Encinitas. However, their biggest complaint is that they just don't have the capability to charge and top up wherever they need to go. And so because of that, they elect to either drive their car or sometimes even walk. And so by implementing these stations, we can definitely work towards bringing these e-bikes and bringing people onto the street, off the streets, and allow them to be more sustainable and have a healthier lifestyle. And so, creating car-free zones, while that may not be entirely possible in a small scale, creating a small area in Encinitas where it's a car-free zone, so setting up a way for people to walk through the streets or ride a bike or ride a scooter, and just to see how the community reacts to that. I think that's something that can definitely move Encinitas forward. A lot of cities internationally have been working towards this, and considering Encinitas' past in taking big steps in environmental challenges, I think that Encinitas should be looking to figure out ways to create car-free zones and to create areas that are sustainable and are promoting healthier lifestyles. And so then third thing is the community engagement and education programs. So right now, Encinitas has been doing really well with this. One of the things I know they've been working closely with is the Solana Center. The Solana Center is personally, in my opinion, one of the best education programs I have seen in all of Southern California. Not many cities are doing this, and this is also something that we've been working toward to implement in other cities. But the Solana Center, in case you don't know, it's an environmental center. One of the biggest things that they talk about is environmental stewardship, and so something that I think the city can work with is helping create these more programs like this. So either implementing different policies, new policies that allow the Solana Center to expand their reach, or even creating additional programs similar to the Solana Center. And so that could be investing in different green community initiatives. And so that would increase public participation in sustainability efforts. One of the biggest things that I've seen in regards to education is Solana Center, they do charge you money to be able to go to some of their programs. And for a lot of people, especially in marginalized communities, they're not able to make that payment. They're not able to sacrifice that money for something else. And so allowing the city of Encinitas to have public education that is funded by the city or even by the state, and also allow anybody to go there who lives in the city of Encinitas, allow them to participate in these activities for free or for a lot cheaper, for subsidized prices. This can definitely benefit the city, as well as help youth advocates and youth commissioners like yourself learn more about what's going on in our city. So another thing is partnering with schools to integrate environmental education into the curriculum. So not only will this benefit students like us in the room right now, but it'll also benefit future students as well. Something that we like to do is go to schools, give presentations, and oftentimes a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. In a lot of schools, private and public, one big concern that we have is that environmental education is being kind of pushed off to the side, and people are favoring other different types of education. While all education is important, I think in learning about your environment, learning about sustainability is incredibly important, especially considering the future that we're looking at right now. And then another thing is developing a climate-friendly certification program for local businesses. This, in the research and data that we've collected, looking at Northern California cities, we've seen that a lot of local businesses that have like a branding of sustainable or environmentally friendly tend to do a lot better. And because of this, it will not only help the city's economic growth, but it'll also allow people to see and have more transparency of whether or not the place that they're going to, eating at, dining at, buying from is sustainable. And so one of the ways that we can do this is creating a program, either using a third-party organization or using some form of certification program that shows that they are like a green ribbon of businesses here in Encinitas. So this will definitely encourage the culture of sustainability throughout the community. I think one thing we may all realize is, I personally love the beach, right? So if I see that, if I go to a restaurant and I see beach friendly, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to support them over the person next to them who isn't like environmentally friendly. And so that subconsciously will build up and will allow people and other businesses to become more environmentally friendly. So some of the solutions that we have, like I said earlier, is some of the education. So developing education in schools and community centers, and putting on maybe once or twice every year, putting on some workshops. And this could be this could be supplied by like the Solana Center, the San Diego Botanical Gardens, and any more other organizations that are around Encinitas to allow free events to Encinitas residents. I think this is incredibly important because it takes away that barrier of like the financial barrier and allows anybody to go and learn about environmentalism and sustainability, specifically environmental stewardship. So one of the biggest things that we've seen, especially in North County, is a lot of cities are creating climate plans. I believe the last time the city has updated their climate plan was in 2020. And so something that I suggest that has been incredibly beneficial for some other cities across the state has been quarterly updates. So every quarter they will create an update and publish all the details of what milestones they have reached, and also update the website. I think that's something that can oftentimes be overlooked. Another thing is yearly testing, which I'll get to in a little bit, and then also setting a new baseline for 2024 or 2023, and showing how the progression has actually changed. Where are we actually meeting those standards, and allowing residents to see that? Because right now, you can see up here, in 2012 was the last time that there has been a detailed published report to the public. And so something that I think is incredibly important is showing the public, 13 years later now, where are we? Have we made any improvements? Have we made any steps forward? And hopefully the answer is yes. But one of the biggest questions that I get from a lot of people is, what is the real data? Like, do we know, is there any actual step forward? And so, looking at this, we can see that, there's a lot of work that goes into this. And while the investment is high, I truly do believe that the reward will pay off, because we'll be able to see, and people will be able to see, the real effects of what the steps that the city has been taking. So now, just to go over a couple events that are happening in Encinitas within the next 6 months or so. April 22nd, Earth Day. I think this is an incredibly important day. While it is very close, it's important to acknowledge that this day is dedicated to the planet that we live in. I know the city of Encinitas in the past has hosted a few events on Earth Day. I'm not entirely sure if there's one happening this year, but if there isn't, I suggest planning for that for next year, or even preparing for World Environment Day on June 5th, which is another important day to discuss and educate people, another opportunity to allow others to learn about the environment. And then June 28th, I did have to sneak this in from, it's the brand new TEDx Encinitas Boulevard. It's a brand new TEDx event that has just been approved, and it's a countdown event, which means that it's all about the climate, sustainability, and environmentalism. And so, allowing this event to happen and even trying to help this event help make this event possible is definitely a step towards the right direction to bring people from all across North County and Southern California. It's a networking event, and it allowed the city of Encinitas to develop new ideas and share ideas that are worth spreading. So thank you. If you have any, I think that concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you, Rohan. I just want to add one thing, is that this is all incredibly important. And just a little bit extra about Rohan is that he's also a leader in our school's green and eco-friendly club. So it's really important, and I encourage you to share, all the commissioners and anybody in the audience, to share what he's taught us all today in your schools, in your community, in your place of work. Just get this information out there. This was all very informative. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Vice Chair Kelly, thank you so much, Rohan, for coming. I always love your announcements at school. You really have made a really great impact in our school community, and Way Zero is really awesome, and I'm really excited to see what you do in the future. I encourage all other commissioners to look into the TEDx Times Encinitas Boulevard. It is really cool. I was kind of freaking out about it the other day because I think it's super awesome that they're doing something like that in Encinitas. And Arbor Day is April 5th from 9 to 12. That's one way our community celebrates this environmental stewardship, and I encourage everybody to come. It's at the community sports park, and they do a lot of great stuff like Rohan's doing there. So yeah, thank you so much for coming, Rohan.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, moving on. Do we have any more special messages or proclamations? I believe we have none. Going on to oral communications and possible directions to staff.
So we do have 3 speakers. The first is Caroline Cope. You have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Carolyn Cope, and I'm president of the Encinitas Historical Society. And this came up when Kelly Shea Hensey, the councilwoman who just stepped down, she was talking about how much she loved Encinitas. And she said, I like to walk on the beach, and the Encinitas song comes to mind, and I sing it as I'm walking. And Quaid said, I didn't know we had an Encinitas song. Well, if you look at that, it was 1990. So it's kind of time to maybe resurrect it again. I don't know if there's anything y'all can do, but I'm going to have you listen to it. The singers on this are professional. No one ever sounded like this. We went around and taught it to the 3rd graders in every elementary school. And that's how Kelly Shea first got introduced to it. But, you know, we have a State of the City coming up. Y'all like to sing, right? Yeah, let's sing. Okay, so the first part is just the music. And you can sing along with, can you hear it? Hugh Martin wrote the music to this. Hugh Martin's the guy who wrote Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas and Meet Me in St. Louis. You know, Choot, Choot, Choot went the trolley. All right, now it's coming with the song, with the words in it, and you can hum along. I love seeing your smiles. You're either smiling at the song or at me. Oh, is my 3 minutes up? They have to hear it with the words. I should have just.
Chair Lashensky, for the record, it is fine. We can hear the words.
In my little town, there's a sound of the sea. There is bougainvillea and pink camellia and starvine tree.
There's plenty of sun and plenty of fun as surfers ride on the foaming tide.
Pelicans dive and the dolphins thrive.
Joggers run in the noonday sun. Bicycles race from place to place in my little town.
My little town,
There's a hum of the bee.
there's a hum of the bee.
For it's filled with flowers and carefree hours, serenity.
Serenity.
Unpretentious, genuine folks, palms and pines and little live oaks. Encinitas, come and see us. Santa Leo, Mariquito, my heart is glowing.
My love is grown.
For smiling and beguiling Encinitas, come and see us.
I can never hit that note.
Encinitas,
Thank you. Sorry I went over. I didn't realize I should have just gone to the words. But I'd like to see if we can get on the agenda to talk about anything that y'all can do in regard to the song, because it's been 30 years. And let me tell you, the kids still sing it. So anyway, thank you. I'm sorry I went over.
And our next speaker is Kelly McCormick.
Thank you. That was a jaunty little tune. Thank you for sharing that. This is Kelly McCormick, and I'd like to invite you all to participate in Study Buddies, San Diego for Drug-Free Youth. is one of the sponsors, along with the San Diego Union High School District and Encinitas Union School District. And it's a program where high school students, freshmen through seniors, can volunteer to be a big buddy to an elementary school student. And it involves a once-a-week commitment for 1 hour. And you come, everybody comes as a group, and you have your own little buddy within the group, and you pair off with them and help them with their homework. And then after like 40 minutes of homework, you go out on the playground and play and have a good time and serve as a friend, mentor, role model for your little buddy. It's a great program because the little kids look up to you so much, and they get to us before you get out of school. So they're like looking out the window and looking out the door to see when the big buddies come because they're so excited for it. And it's also, it's great for volunteer service hours and things like that. So I believe I was one short when I passed them out. So I'll make sure everyone has an application. Please feel free to share this. They're on the website and at all the counseling offices as well. If you're at like Pacific Ridge or a different school, if you are able to make the times, we would love to work with you as well. It's not restricted to only SDA and LCC. We have kids from Grauer and other schools too, and Cathedral Catholic. So thank you very much.
And our final speaker is Ann Hall.
Hello, council members. Good to see you. Ann Hall from the Encinitas Library. Just wanted to go through and tell you about some of our programs that we have coming up this next month. If there's anything of interest, I'm happy to provide an electronic version of the flyer. If there's something that you guys all think, gosh, I would personally want to support that and help promote it, I welcome that. Or if you want to maybe consider it some sort of a committee activity or something like that. We have our normal things of the Drawing Comics for Beginners program that we offer a couple times a month. We have 3D Printing 101, which is a workshop. We're going to try it on Sundays because we've been doing it regularly on weekdays. It's a really interesting program that also I think ties really well to environment and thinking about that it's instead of being a concept where you're taking materials away and have waste, you're just building what you need. So it has a lot of environmental implications too. We're giving out Museum Month passes. We're a distribution center along with lots of others in San Diego County for the month of February. That's you can reuse up to 4 people for the whole month. Our Coast and Ranch book crawl. It's a book crawl that 4 Friends of the Library stores are doing that you can enter to win some prizes, a free gift. North County Robotics is a new program that we're doing. It's for individuals ages 13 to 17. They can join a team. There might be corollaries at your schools already. So you can definitely check that out if you're interested, or if you want to come and just support it at the library. We're trialing it, so we really want it to be popular. And then we're for the library presence for the art night in April, we're going to be doing a fashion show. So we're encouraging people to enter fashion designs, and then they themselves can model it, or somebody else could model it for a fun event that's happening at the art night event at the library. But they have to get, our current deadline is March 10th to be able to submit. I think that everyone's going to be accepted. I don't think we're going to be overrun with entries. So consider it. If you know anyone that is all interested in fashion design, we can work with you. We're trying it out. So definitely, if this is something that we could help promote, if you have a school contact, a club, let me know, and I'm happy to directly do that. And then the last thing is that right now we're getting applications for our One Book, One San Diego. It's an annual event that's been going on for over a decade, maybe even 2. And right now we're getting nominations. And so there are literally individuals on a committee that will read everything that is nominated. And so if you're an avid reader, we welcome nominations, or if you could promote it. There are 3 different categories: a youth, a teen, and an adult. So it doesn't have to be an adult book. It could be something that's for a young adult or youth. So I'm happy to provide more details.
thanks for all the directions to staff and oral communications. Next up, we're on item number 6, which is if we have any changes to the agenda.
There are no changes to the posted agenda.
Hearing no changes to the posted agenda, we move on to item 7, approving the January 8th, 2025 Youth Commission regular meeting minutes.
Vice Chair Kelly moves to approve this motion.
Chair Lashensky seconds.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take a vote. Chair Lashensky,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Crawford,
Aye.
Commissioner Hubble,
Aye.
Commissioner Kinzelberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Malekian,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Aye.
Commissioner Sue,
Aye.
and Commissioner Yui.
Aye.
Okay, the January 8th minutes are approved.
Great. Moving on to agenda item number 8, which is any action items we have, starting with the work plan.
Manager Hamer here. For the work plan, if you want to just review any updates that you have to your items, you can share with the group.
Yes, Vice Chair Kelly, I'll throw this in there. It's a part, I think we should make this a part of the work plan. But for environmental, there is Arbor Day on April 5th from 9 to 12, the Community Sports Park. It's a really great opportunity. I've done that the last couple of years. I've been the only commissioner to do that the last couple of years. And it is a really great opportunity to practice environmental stewardship, habitat restoration. We usually plant a lot of trees, and there's a lot of stations and vendors that come in and speak about what they're doing to help the community with that. And on, oh wow, they're both April 5th. On April 5th, there's also art night from 5:30 to 8:30. It's another really fun opportunity for the art engagement of the city. There's a lot of youth. There's some really great youth bands. So yeah, those are 2 things that we could add to the agenda if we would like to, and the work plan, but those are just 2 notes I had.
Manager Hamer here, quick correction that the Arbor Day is going to be at Cardiff Sports Park. They tend to move around at different sites, and we will definitely add those events on the calendar that you guys have, the Youth Commission calendar, so they're noted there with that detail. And then for civic engagement, you can decide if you're going to volunteer and help. Of course, it's always encouraged.
Commissioner Lashensky, in intergenerational programming, we recently held our Techie Tutoring event, which is an event where high schoolers in the Encinitas area can volunteer and help senior citizens with their technology problems. And we held this event over the weekend, and it was pretty well attended. Shout out to Commissioner O'Malley for doing a lot of work in gathering volunteers and helping set up for the event with me. And along with that, I believe we had a lot of seniors come by and help out and learn a lot more about their technology. We had people come with iPhones, wanting to send more text messages to people with computers, even trying to set up their Facebook pages. So I feel as though this event is incredibly useful in helping seniors stay connected with the world around them. And while it wasn't as well attended as last year, I feel as though this set of events is incredibly useful, especially for the senior citizens in Encinitas. Going along with that, for the STEM Engagement Ad Hoc Committee, I'm currently talking with some local robotics teams to get some guest speakers to come to some of the future meetings. And in doing so, that would help expand upon the interests in robotics and how robotics shape them and how STEM education is important for all ages. Along with that, I'm also working with some local robotics teams to help set up and design some STEM kits that we're planning on giving away at some local events. But yeah. And also along with that, something that is another sort of ad hoc committee that Quaid and I and Ben have been, Commissioner Sue, Commissioner Kelly, and I have been working on is creating the bylaws for the commission, which we have just finished our first full draft of properly formatted. So that's an update to all 3 of my ad hoc committees.
Commissioner Hubble, I just wanted to mention that the Arts Ad Hoc recently took a tour of the Pacific View Arts Center, which was very successful and informative. We learned a lot about their programs. So my favorite room was their music room, where they have several guitars. They have a full drum kit and recording studio for use for their classes. At this time, the use of the rooms is only for classes, so I would encourage all of us on the commission and our guests to check those out because they have a lot of really cool resources that I think are a great benefit to our city.
Commissioner Kinzelberg, I have updates for 2 of my ad hocs. First of all, for the youth health and safety ad hoc, am I able to present something like under the screen so that it's like presented on the board?
We would want to plan in advance for that. If you want to plan to do that at the next commission meeting, that would be fine.
Yeah. But I brought today some, for the youth and health, youth safety and health ad hoc, I brought some of my sources that I used for my ocean safety booth over the summer, and we're planning probably to use the same kind of stuff. I'll update it based on some like feedback that we received. But yeah, so I'll show that next time. And then for the civic and community engagement series ad hoc, just before this meeting, we had a Zoom call with somebody from geocaching, and we're talking about setting up an adventure lab, which is pretty much a component of geocaching for the Encinitas Art Night, as well as a permanent one. So,
Commissioner Hubble, Manager Hamer, I had a quick question for you about presenting that youth health and safety stuff. Would that be something we could add to the agenda, or how does that planning work?
Manager Hamer here. You could do it as a presentation before the formal meeting begins, or we could have that you provide slides in advance so that as you're speaking, I would just then pull it up and it would be part of your conversation. It could be either or, depending on how formal you would like your presentation to be.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Yui, we also visited the Pacific View Art Center, and the music room. I thought it was very interesting because they mentioned that they would be like having like mini concerts in their music room, just like small concerts. And I thought that, and no one has played yet there, so I thought if we like spread more awareness about it, it could be like better utilized.
Does anybody, Chair Lashensky, this is like last call if anybody has any updates to any of the ad hoc groups, such as mobility, e-bike safety, and bike safety. That's one we haven't heard from you. Does anyone have any updates in that one?
Commissioner Hubble, I just want to remind everyone that on our during our April meeting, we will hear from Mila Sonkin from the Santa Fe Christian Schools Autism Tree Club. That should be on the calendar already, but I'm excited for all of us to be educated and hear what she has to say.
Manager Hamer here. I do want to mention that I know there were ad hoc youth commissioners on that ad hoc that were interested in potentially having a booth table at the Cyclovia event. And I did move that forward, and it didn't seem to be a problem at all. And we'll get more details to that ad hoc that can move forward, whether it's a separate booth or it's shared with the city. The Parks and Recreation Commission also has a booth, so you might be next to them.
Chair Lashensky, that sounds like a great update for that ad hoc group. And I believe that concludes our work plan updates. Going on to the next item, which is number 9 for any informational items, which are updates from Recreation Service Manager Hamer.
Manager Hamer here. I wanted to announce that the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Department does a community grant program each year. Applications for fiscal year 26 will open on February 10th and close on February 27th. So please, if you have any inquiries or you know of any nonprofits in town that normally apply for that, there is an email and a website, which is just the encinitasca.gov/CGP for Community Grant Program. And I do believe you have to be a nonprofit to apply, but I'm sure many of you, especially right here in our audience, may be aware of that program and be applying. So want to make sure you know those deadlines. Upcoming events, we do have this Saturday, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting a community resource fair at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center. It's 10 to 2 p.m., and we'll have a table there, and police and fire will also be there, as well as our sustainability team. So there'll be a lot of city presence there as a community resource, and businesses and things like that also, if you're in the neighborhood and want to swing by. We also have, on March 26th is the deadline for the Youth Piano Concerto competition. It was quite well received last year. If you have any pianists or artists that you have in your circle, please make sure they're aware of that. It's a great opportunity to perform with a professional orchestra. I listed save the dates. I know we've already heard some of them with the Arbor Day and Art Night. They are on the same date, and they may look to kind of tie in some themes so that people who attend Arbor Day might also attend Art Night, as well as our Adventure Lab feature. If we can add that in, it should really make it engaging and bring even more people out to these events. Another big one is our Spring Egg Hunt. That is April 19th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We do always appreciate when youth commissioners can help us with the egg hunt and the spreading of the eggs, and just supporting the community that loves that event and comes out each year. And hopefully no rain, because we had a lot of rain last year. And then in May, we have a movie in the park, Moana 2. That'll be on Saturday, May 3rd in Glen Park. Those are just some of the different activities you can get involved in. And I also wanted to follow up and say that the bylaws have gone to the director and will be reviewed by the city attorney. At that point, after the city attorney approves it, you'll have a chance as a full youth commission to review it and vote on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we then have agenda item 10, which if we have any commissioner member initiated agenda items, which I believe we have none. Hearing none, we move on to item 11, which is those same agenda items being added by commissions, which I believe we also have none. All right, hearing none, we go to commission reports as a round table. I'll start. So at Pacific Ridge School, we are actually going to have our winter formal this Saturday. The theme is Winter Wonderland, and it's going to be very exciting. And along with that, we also are wrapping up the robotics season with the robotics championships also coming on this Saturday.
Vice Chair Kelly, no comment.
Commissioner Crawford, nothing to report.
Commissioner Hubble, at Santa Fe Christian High School, we are having a lively mid-spring semester with winter sports coming to an end. Our women's soccer team, who's having an excellent season, is having their senior night tonight. Our men's soccer is on Friday, as well as men's and women's basketball. We also are having our Winter Spirit Week this week, and on Saturday we'll be having our Santa Fe Stagecoach country dance event. We also have our spring musical coming up March 7th, 8th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. We'll be having shows of Guys and Dolls at the Star Theater in Oceanside, so check that out if you're interested. And that's about it.
Commissioner Kinzelberg, at PRS, we are currently having a food drive. The North County Poverty Service Learning Group is hosting it, and it will be until this Friday. And we are donating all the food to the CRC, which is here in Encinitas. And the CRC is also, they're hosting a Teens for Healthy Relationships conference on February 12th from 5 to 7. That's really all I have.
Commissioner Malekian, nothing to report.
Commissioner O'Malley, so at Cathedral Catholic, we will also be having our winter formal at the Air and Space Museum with the theme of Night in the City. And then this Friday, we actually have our boys basketball team playing against Saints, which we need support from students and anyone else. And also this Friday, we have our school be hosting our annual career day for juniors, which allows them to discover and talk about different career paths with alumni. And finally, we have our winter sports rally on February 21st, which we will be honoring all of our winter sports this season.
Commissioner Sue, nothing to report.
Commissioner Yui, also at LCC, we were having our winter formal, and it's going to be at the Flower Fields, at Carlsbad Flower Fields. And then also spring sports are about to start up, and then, yeah, tryouts are soon.
All right, thanks. Thank you all to all the commissioners, and I believe that moves us on to agenda item 13, which is adjournment. So I hereby adjourn this meeting at 5:15 p.m. on Wednesday, February 5th.